Good evening, friends. Thanks for joining me again. I'm Erickson, the founder and president of Playa Animal Welfare Services. This is part 3 of our story. It's part 3 where I'm talking about our federal civil rights lawsuit. I'm going through all 56 pages. In the first part, we went through who the defendants are and what our allegations are against them, why we're suing them. The second part got into the facts of the case as to describing the whole scenario behind this situation. And we gotten up to the point after we discussed with Maria Gonzalez from my neighborhood making various false allegations to me, to the health department, suing me in court and losing. The health department found her accusations unsubstantiated and closed the case. Then at the end of August of 2023, at Maria's behest, Teleonce published a series of false and defamatory news stories against me and my rescue. And now we're at the point where we're going to get to the illegal police raid. So we are about halfway through the 56 pages of the lawsuit, so there's probably going to be this segment and 1 or 2 more following it, just so it doesn't run on for too much time. So we'll get back to where we left off. So, after the false news stories by Teleonce, Maria filed her false criminal complaint against me at the urging of the Teleonce news reporters on August 25th, 2023. She made her report to Captain Jose Figueroa Andujar at the Añasco Police Station. Co-defendant Captain Figueroa Andujar has a record of violating the civil rights of citizens, which was known, or should have been known, by the Commissioner of the Puerto Rico Police. In October of 2009, when Figueroa Andujar was still a sergeant, a jury awarded $6.5 million in compensatory and punitive damages against him, finding that he had seized or arrested the plaintiffs without probable cause, subjected them to unreasonable search of their dwellings, and used excessive force during their seizure or arrest. More importantly, the Puerto Rico Department of Justice paid for the jury award issued against Figueroa Andujar. No further investigation into Gonzalez's complaint was undertaken before Captain Figueroa Andujar sent Sergeant Jose Rafael Ramos Quinones to the prosecutor's office in Mayaguez to swear out a search warrant against the plaintiff. Sergeant Ramos swore under oath in front of a judge that he had completed a thorough investigation, including interviewing Maria Gonzalez and 3 other neighbors and a health department inspector. In reality, co-defendant Ramos did not do any investigating whatsoever. He did not come to the plaintiff's house to see if he could verify Gonzalez's allegations that she had observed an ongoing pattern of animal abuse against cats at her house. He did not speak with other neighbors. He did not attempt to speak with the plaintiff, even though he had texted Erica on her personal cell phone many times in 2021 and 2022 when she had been the victim of numerous crimes, including 4 burglaries. The supervisor of Sergeant Ramos, Sergeant David Caban Mendez, also signed off on this false and deficient warrant, repeating the false statements by co-defendant Maria Gonzalez, swearing under oath that he too had verified the investigation and found sufficient probable cause to get a search warrant to raid plaintiff's home and rescue. In reality, neither co-defendant Ramos nor co-defendant Mendez had done any investigation into Gonzalez's claims whatsoever. And following suit, prosecutor Andres Fernandez Vera, the same prosecutor that Teleonce stated they had called about the allegations against the plaintiff, signed off on the warrant, indicating that he too had verified the investigation and found sufficient probable cause to raid Erica's home and rescue in order to look for forged veterinary records, forged health travel certificates, cats in poor condition, and cats used for breeding. Nowhere in the warrant is Captain Figueroa Andujar even mentioned, even though according to both Ramos and Maria Gonzalez, he is the one who took Maria Gonzalez's complaint. At about 5:30 a.m. on September 1st, 2023, Erica was asleep in her bed, alone, in her home, when suddenly 15 armed police officers kicked down her gate and stormed into her bedroom in the pitch dark. She was jolted awake in a terrified stupor as Sergeant Ramos loudly said his name as he stood over Erica with the flashlight. The cat that was sleeping next to her defecated out of fear, and Erica nearly did the same. Erica thought she was having another night terror brought on by the nightmare that Teleonce had caused her life to become, but quickly she realized that this was really happening. There were really 15 armed police officers, including Animal Police Agent Flores, surrounding her in her bedroom, and more people were filing into her home behind them. As directed, Erica got out of bed and turned on the lights. She turned her cell phone on to record what was happening and was told by co-defendant Ramos that they had a warrant to search the plaintiff's home. He handed Erica a warrant and told her it was the original. Two veterinarians, co-defendants Dr. Luna and Dr. Marilyn Arce, then entered Erica's bedroom and started going through her drawers and personal belongings. As Erica tried to get her bearings, she looked over the warrant and noticed it had not been signed by a judge. She also saw that it was for cats in poor condition, cats used for illegal breeding, and forged documents. Erica pointed out to these veterinarians that they were not going to find any cats or documents in her personal medicine cabinet, in her dresser, in her refrigerator, or anywhere else they were searching. Erica was very confused as to why two veterinarians were rummaging through her personal belongings while 15 police officers were standing around staring at her. Ramos asked Erica to give him all of the vet records, so she went to the drawer where she kept them and handed Ramos all the vet records. The vets continued to search through the plaintiff's own personal medications, and then Dr. Arce acted like she had found the grand prize and proudly held up a receipt for medicinal cannabis from a cannabis dispensary where the plaintiff had legally purchased cannabis that was prescribed by her doctor. Erica told Dr. Arce that was her personal medicine, and the warrant had only to do with cats and documents, and she was exceeding the scope of the warrant. Dr. Arce ignored Erica and continued to go through her personal belongings. Ramos demanded that plaintiff produce her license to use cannabis, and she told him that the warrant did not allow the vets to be going through her personal belongings. Ramos then handed Erica a copy of the warrant in English, which was only 2 pages long, while the Spanish version was 9 pages long. But he told Erica it was an identical copy, but in English. The English copy did not give the vets any additional authority, nor did it expand the scope of the search beyond what the Spanish version allowed. Erica then heard her cat screaming from across the room and looked and saw Ramos continuing to stand on the poor cat as she screamed and cried in pain. Erica yelled at him twice that he was standing on her cat. How he did not notice this cannot be understood, as the cat was loudly crying out and trying to get out from under his foot. At Erica's urging, he removed his foot from her cat. He then asked Erica to go outside and turn on the lights so they could see the rescue area under the house. As they walked outside, Erica noticed a 15-foot tall construction spotlight that the police had set up outside of her fence to illuminate her yard since it was still pitch black out. The warrant clearly stated on the first page that it must be executed during daylight hours unless a magistrate found compelling reasons to execute the warrant in the dark. No reasons whatsoever were given in the warrant as to why it might be necessary, much less compelling, to conduct such a raid in the dark, as opposed to doing so during daylight hours. As a former lawyer, Erica realized they had also failed to knock or announce themselves before busting through the gate and storming into her bedroom with 15 armed police officers. And on top of that, the warrant was not even signed by a judge. As Erica accompanied Ramos down the stairs to the area under her house, she was shocked to see a random, not police uniformed woman wandering around under her house unsupervised, looking at the cats and sticking her hands into the cages. Erica turned on the lights and saw this woman had a shirt with a picture of a horse and the name S. Crespo on it. The plaintiff later found out this was co-defendant Solimar Crespo, and she was a nurse who rescued horses in Aguadilla. She was not a member of law enforcement, not a vet, and not a cat rescuer. Yet she had entered the plaintiff's property with the police as they stormed into her bedroom and was allowed to spend the entire day wandering the plaintiff's home and property, unaccompanied and unsupervised, taking pictures and videos of plaintiff's private property, texting, and making numerous phone calls. At this time, the vets finished ransacking Erica's home and came outside to the animal rescue area of the property. The plaintiff told them she operates a 501c3 nonprofit rescue, and they had protocols in place by their veterinarian to treat the various health conditions and illnesses that the cats arrived with when saved from the streets, and Erica provided the vets with a list of the rescue's veterinarians. Dr. Arce asked if Erica had medicine to treat the cats. The plaintiff responded yes and showed Dr. Arce where the medicines for the cats were kept. Dr. Arce and Dr. Luna then went through the medications and put many of them in their purse and backpacks. Plaintiff saw them take several unopened bottles of antibiotics, a brand new bottle of Albon valued at over $200, a brand new package of 48 Gerontal dewormer tablets that had just been bought for $249, and various other assorted medications, including medicated eye drops, eye ointment, flea medications, and topical parasite preventatives. Then Ramos, accompanied by Doctors Luna and Arce, asked Erica if she had any paperwork that allowed her to sell cats. Erica told them she did not sell cats and that she ran a nonprofit animal rescue registered both with the government of Puerto Rico and the IRS as a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Dr. Arce asked Erica if she had these documents, who responded that yes, she had them on her phone. At no point did Dr. Arce or Dr. Luna or Sergeant Ramos or the animal police agent Flores look at the plaintiff's nonprofit paperwork, and further, they refused to call the plaintiff's veterinarians to verify the cats in the rescue were receiving proper veterinary care. Instead, Dr. Arce and Dr. Luna walked around the rescue, going from cage to cage looking at the cats and kittens. Dr. Luna, who is a self-declared social media influencer and media darling of the Puerto Rico press, decided that she would oversee the raid, even though she was a first-year veterinarian with no shelter or rescue experience and no experience working on animal abuse investigations with law enforcement. Dr. Arce, who had 17 years experience, inexplicably deferred to Dr. Luna. Erica told these vets that she had 12 flights already paid for the month of September to fly 48 of these cats to adopters and no-kill rescues in the States. Dr. Luna ignored Erica, but Dr. Arce said not to worry, that the plaintiff would still be allowed to fly the cats to their adopters, and they were only going to take the few that were very sick. Dr. Arce assured Erica that none of the cats that were outside of the cages would be taken. At about 7 o'clock in the morning, Erica's interpreter, John Hernandez, arrived at the property at plaintiff's request because her first language is English and she could not understand most of what was being said or discussed around her by the Spanish-speaking police. Even the vets who spoke English would intentionally speak Spanish so Erica could not understand what they were saying to each other. Ramos told Erica that a man was there to see her. Erica told Ramos the man was her interpreter and he needed to be let in to help her. Ramos refused to let the plaintiff's interpreter in. Erica told Ramos that her lawyer had said that she was entitled to a translator. Ramos responded that Erica should tell her lawyer that this is Puerto Rico and we speak Spanish here. Plaintiff's interpreter stood outside of the gate for hours, but was refused entry for the entire day. Erica watched as Dr. Luna led the police videographer from cage to cage. She opened a cage that had a mother cat with nursing 3-week-old kittens. The kittens were infected with herpes virus, upper respiratory infection, and ringworm. All of these conditions were being appropriately treated with medications as directed in the medical protocols provided and signed by the plaintiff's veterinarians. Dr. Luna held each kitten up to the video camera and pointed out their symptoms and clearly stated they had what appeared to be ringworm infections. Dr. Luna then went to the next cage where there was a healthy mother cat with healthy newborn kittens that were barely a week old. Without changing her infected and highly contagious gloves, Dr. Luna reached into the cage and picked up 1 or 2 of the healthy newborn baby kittens. Erica was shocked and horrified and said quietly into her phone as she continued to film Dr. Luna that she was using infected gloves to handle healthy newborn kittens. Dr. Luna heard Erica and became enraged. She put the kittens back in the cage, tore off her infected gloves, put them in her pocket, and then glared at Erica. Shortly after this, Dr. Luna declared that they would be taking all of the plaintiff's cats and directed the police and Dr. Arce to take every cat on the property. Erica was so shocked and heartbroken that she became physically ill and dizzy and almost passed out as she watched her beloved cats being roughly manhandled and thrown into her own crates and cages before being hauled from her property and stacked haphazardly in a metal horse trailer. The plaintiff told Ramos that the warrant was only for cats in poor condition and those used for breeding. Ramos laughed at Erica and said, "As determined by who?" Erica told him that he could clearly see that her cats were not abused, neglected, or used for breeding. He shrugged and said it was up to the veterinarian and she had decided that all the cats were going to be taken, so that was the end of it. Erica told him he could see these cats were not even sick, and he repeated that it was not up to him, and even though most of the cats did not look sick to him, it was up to the vet. Erica rushed over to Dr. Arce, who had said not long before this that they were only going to take the sickest cats and that they were not going to take any of the cats that were not in cages. Dr. Arce assured Erica that the cats were going to a shelter and that she would be able to get them back after they were checked out by a vet. The vets did not examine any of the plaintiff cats other than to visually look at them. They did not take the weight, temperature, or respirations of a single cat on the property before deciding to seize all of them. What was even worse was that the police had showed up completely empty-handed and unprepared. They brought no cat carriers, no crates, no cages, no puppy pads, and not even an appropriate vehicle to transport the cats. Instead, they took all of the plaintiffs' cages, crates, carriers, puppy pads, litter boxes, food and water bowls, medication, and even more than 20 bags of expensive Purina One kitten food and over a dozen cases of Fancy Feast and Purina canned cat and kitten food. Ramos told Erica that they needed to take the food or the cats would not have anything to eat. They picked up the large wire dog crates that each housed 1 to 3 cats and stacked them in the metal horse trailer that was sitting in the 100-degree sun. They did not secure the cages to the trailer, and they tipped and fell over as they pulled away. Before Dr. Luna made the decision to take all the cats, she repeatedly accused the plaintiff of selling cats. Erica explained to Dr. Luna that she registered a nonprofit animal rescue and that she did not sell cats, that the cats were flown to no-kill rescues in the States, and that it was expensive to do so. Erica explained that when people adopted cats, the adoption fees were used to pay vet bills and take care of the cats that nobody wanted to adopt. After hearing this explanation, Dr. Luna insisted on accusing Erica of selling cats, who emphatically denied this accusation and directed Dr. Luna to Playa rescue pages so she could see the great work that was done with dozens of volunteers, thousands of supporters, and perfect reviews. Dr. Luna shrugged Erica off, saying, "Yeah, we've been to your rescue pages." Despite the plaintiff repeatedly yelling over and over again throughout the day for the police to shut her property's gate because they were letting the cats escape, they kept leaving the gate open in order to allow the news media and Teleonce to stand outside the gate and film inside her private property. While they were doing this, Erica's blind cat, the same one that had been sleeping with her and that Ramos had stepped on in her bedroom, wandered out and was run over by the police as they pulled away with the horse trailer. Neither the police nor the vets did anything to try to save Erica's sweet, blind kitty, Dulce. Instead, they left Dulce's broken body in a filthy puddle of mud in the middle of the road as she took her final breaths. Teleonce then filmed her dead body, put the video footage on the news, and claimed that the police had found many dead cats on the plaintiff's property during the raid. In fact, there was not a single dead cat on the plaintiff's property, and they were the ones responsible for the death of sweet Dulce, the blind kitty. They did not have the decency to even apologize or allow Erica to do anything with her poor dead cat other than to move her body to the side of the road. After pulling away with many of the plaintiff's large metal crates, the police and vets kept ransacking the property. Captain Figueroa Andujar, who was part of the police show of force contingent, went back into Erica's bedroom and tore apart her personal medicine cabinet and chest of drawers where they had previously found the prescription for medicinal cannabis. Captain Figueroa pulled the drawers out of the cabinet, breaking one of the drawers. He pulled out everything from binoculars to birthday cards from Erica's mother to legal correspondence from her lawyer. He and the other police officers trashed the plaintiff's home, knocked over her flat screen TV, shattering the screen, knocked Erica's laptop on the floor, breaking it and causing it to no longer function, and stole everything of value they could find, from the $700 in cash that Erica had in her drawer to the gold jewelry in her jewelry box. And after catching as many of the healthy, free-range cats as she could, Dr. Luna then returned her focus to snooping through the plaintiff's personal belongings. When no police officers were around, Dr. Luna opened a large plastic tote containing tools and various assorted items, including trinkets, hardware, hurricane supplies, and other small items belonging to the plaintiff. Erica has video surveillance of Dr. Luna returning to the same tote several times, opening little jewelry boxes and digging through the contents of the tote. On one occasion, after the raid was over, Dr. Luna called Agent Flores over and showed him some items before handing the items to Flores. Flores then looked around to see if anyone was watching him. Finding nobody was watching, Flores then covertly slipped a handful of items into his pocket. When other police officers started to walk towards him, Flores told Dr. Luna that her job was done and she could leave. None of these items appear anywhere on the police inventory, which was signed off by both Agent Flores and Sergeant Ramos. Most of the rest of plaintiff's stolen property, including cash, jewelry, and other assorted items, do not appear anywhere on the police inventory. After the horse trailer left with the first load of plaintiff's cats, the police and vets continued to run around the property trying to catch the dozens of healthy cats that were living cage-free at the rescue. Since the police arrived empty-handed and completely unprepared with no supplies whatsoever, Dr. Luna and Dr. Arce went and started taking dirty plastic carriers that were stacked outside. At the rescue, Erica washed and sanitized the carriers before using them because they were typically used to pick up sick cats and kittens from the streets and to bring cats to veterinary appointments. The carriers were soiled with feces, urine, and contaminated with various diseases. Rather than sanitize the crates after each use and then stack them outside where they get dirty from the rain, dirt, toads, lizards, and various insects that roam around outside, Erica stacked the dirty carriers and left them until needed for use, and then would sanitize them. Dr. Luna and Dr. Arce did not clean or sanitize these carriers before grabbing and stuffing healthy cats into these filthy, infected carriers. The plaintiff has video surveillance footage of Dr. Luna and Dr. Arce dumping brown, dirty water out of these carriers, then taking puppy pads, putting it into the carrier, and then putting perfectly healthy cats into these filthy, infected carriers. They then left the cats to roast in these small carriers for hours in the 100-degree sun while they waited for the horse trailer to return. When the horse trailer returned, they loaded it up with the remaining large wire cages and plastic handheld carriers. Again, they did not secure any of the cages or crates to the horse trailer, so the carriers and cages were sliding and falling all over in the horse trailer as it drove 30 minutes or more to the horse farm, where they brought all of the plaintiff's cats. Erica demanded to know where the cats were being taken, and Ramos told her they were being taken to a horse rescue belonging to Solimar Crespo in Moca, which was named Rescate Rehabilitación Equinos. Ramos gave Erica the address and phone number, but when Erica went there a few days later, there was no sign of the cats, and it was a vacant field without even a barn or building of any kind. This supposed rescue did not even exist. It is just what Solimar called her own little horse rescue endeavor. There was no organization, no board of directors, nothing that would be required to call something a separate entity or an organization. Nearly a year later, Erica still has no idea where her cats are. Dr. Arce assured her that they were being brought to a shelter, and Puerto Rico Law 154 for the protection of animals requires that any animals taken by the police as part of an investigation must be brought to the municipal animal shelter or to the rescue organization that is assisting with the case. But there is no such shelter, and plaintiff cats are nowhere to be found. Sergeant Ramos, Agent Flores, and Captain Figueroa all violated Puerto Rico Law 154 by sending plaintiffs 87 cats and all of her property and supplies with a random civilian, Solimar Crespo, who admitted on the news the same day that she had absolutely no experience with cats But after the police told her what a horrible person Erica was and how the cats were in danger, she felt she needed to step up and take the cats from the plaintiff. Solimar also told the news that Erica had no emotions and did not love or care about these cats at all, and that she did not provide them with any care. On her Facebook page, Solimar went on to repeat that she had no idea how to care for cats, but she felt compelled to take them after the horrible things the police had told her about the plaintiff. She also posted that while on the plaintiff's property, she had taken over 200 pictures and videos and posted some of them on her Facebook page, and told the public that there were many more that were too awful to post, but she would release them after the criminal investigation is over. After the horse trailer left the property for the second time, Ramos told the plaintiff that she needed to go with him to the police station. Erica asked if she was under arrest, and Ramos said no. Erica told him that if she was not under arrest, she was not going to get in the police car and go with him to the police station. Ramos told her that if she did not get in the police car and go with him, that he would arrest her. Erica told him this was not legal and called her lawyer, Marco Soto. Attorney Soto told Ramos that if Erica was not under arrest, he could not force her to go with him. Ramos got angry and growled at Attorney Soto that we were going to do things his way, and if Erica did not go with him, she would be arrested. Attorney Soto pleaded with Ramos, saying that he would bring Erica to the police station instead, but Ramos refused. Erica asked if Ramos could at least bring his police car over to the gate, since he was parked quite a distance from her house and there were half a dozen news reporters with cameras lining the street. Ramos told Erica to quit arguing and get moving. So she went with him as he paraded her in perp walk fashion for the news cameras as if she was under arrest. Ramos put Erica in the back of his squad car as the media surrounded her, shoving their cameras in her face. Erica's lawyer arrived shortly after she was taken to the police station. They sat in a room, and the police did not even attempt to talk to her or ask her any questions. Defendants made Erica and her attorney sit there for several hours until they were finally allowed to leave. Erica's lawyer told her that the news media had followed them to the police station, and the police wanted to make it look like she was under arrest, so they were not going to let her leave until the news channels had left. Finally, when all the news people had left, Erica's lawyer was allowed to drive her home. When she got to her house, she was shocked to see that the gate had been locked with a chain and padlock she had kept on her property, but that was only used to lock the gate when she left the island to fly cats to the U.S. When the police kicked down the gate that morning, it had not been chained and locked. Thankfully, Erica had the key in her purse and was able to get inside. When plaintiff made her way back to where the rescue had been only hours before, it was like being punched in the gut. The whole place was trashed and ransacked. All the cages, carriers, and supplies had been taken. What wasn't taken over was knocked over, broken, and strewn about in a mess. Used gloves and empty water bottles from the police and vets were thrown all over the ground. When she went in her home, it was even worse. The shelves in her glass cabinet were smashed and knocked down. The TV and computer were broken and destroyed. All her money and valuables were gone. Drawers were pulled out and dumped on the floor. And of course, poor Dulce was still laying dead on the side of the road. It was the worst day of Erica's life. And she just stood there, staring in shock at the ruins of her beloved home and rescue. Slowly, the cats that the police and vets had not managed to catch started emerging from their hiding places and surrounded her as if to provide comfort. Erica sat with them, and they all gathered around and rubbed against her lovingly. To add insult to injury, Teleonce was joyously celebrating the raid that they had orchestrated on the plaintiff and her nonprofit rescue through their maliciously false news reports. And of course, they did another series of stories about Erica following the raid. On September 1st, 2023, Teleonce was at Erica's property for the duration of the raid, coming up to her property's fence and gate to film inside the property. They put on the news that dozens of live and dead cats were removed from the plaintiff's property. This is a lie. There was not a single dead cat found on Erica's property. And the dead cat that Teleonce put on the news to make it look like there were dead cats was poor Dulce, the blind cat that was run over by the police as a result of them constantly leaving the gate open to give Teleonce the chance to invade the plaintiff's privacy and film inside the property during the raid. Teleonce then included an interview with their media darling, who was constantly on TV and social media as a self-declared influencer and first-year vet, Dr. Adriana Luna. Dr. Luna said that 95% of the cats were in bad condition and none of the cats had received even basic care. In a subsequent news story later in the evening on September 1st, 2023, Teleonce aired an interview with Captain Jose Figueroa Andujar, where he stated that the plaintiff's cats were kept in deplorable conditions and that Sergeant Ramos had brought Erica to the police station and they were consulting with prosecutor Andres Fernandez Vera for possible criminal charges. Dr. Luna went on to comment that they had even found feces in Erica's bed, which she failed to mention was because 15 armed police officers stormed into her bedroom as she slept with her cat. Dr. Luna also incorrectly stated that if there were 3 cats in a cage, that each cat must have its own litter box. This is not a requirement of Puerto Rico law, and the standards the plaintiff follows from the Department of Agriculture recommend at least 1 litter box for 3 cats. Dr. Luna also said the cats did not have food, water, or parasite prevention, which are all lies. Teleonce also lied and said that even though the plaintiff had medications for the cats, Erica refused to let the vets administer any of the medications to the cats. In a third news story on September 1st, 2023, Teleonce went to the horse farm where the cats had been brought to and they interviewed Solimar Crespo. They said these cats were rescued from the house of Erica Erickson. They chose not to state the truth that these cats were taken from a legally registered non-profit animal rescue. Solimar went on to say that she had 55 rescue horses, but that when the police had explained to her what horrible conditions the cats were in, and she searched for Añasco cats on the internet, she saw the Teleonce news stories about the plaintiff and how the sick cats, how sick the cats were and what bad conditions they were kept in. So she decided she had to step up and help, even though she had no experience with cats whatsoever. Despite never having met or talked to Erica, Solimar went on to say that the plaintiff had no love for these cats, that when told the cats needed help, Erica showed no emotion, and that they found dead cats on the property. And none of this mattered to Erica whatsoever. These are all lies that Solimar was telling to Teleonce to make Erica look like an evil villain while making herself look like the hero of the story. Solimar went on to describe her ridiculous plan to build a huge cage where all the cats could live together so they no longer had to live in cages. Solimar failed to mention or point out that these cats were not living in cages long term. They were temporarily in cages until their sicknesses could be cured, and then they could be sterilized and flown to adopters in the U.S. Solimar and Teleonce falsely portrayed to the public that the plaintiff was a hoarder who kept cats in cages, did not care for them, and just let them suffer and die, while failing to point out the documented truth, which is that the plaintiff rescued sick and injured cats from the streets, got them vet care, provided them with top quality food, litter, toys, and treats, and then flew them to loving adopters and no-kill rescues in the States. Solimar then proceeded to beg for money and donations because she had no means to buy food, cat litter, or pay for any of the care for these cats. Since she was not running any sort of an animal shelter or rescue organization, she provided her own bank account information where people could donate to. Terrified that the police would come back for the rest of her cats, Erica spent thousands of dollars arranging flights for the remaining cats to go to no-kill rescues across the United States. Volunteers and fosters from across Puerto Rico came to the plaintiff's home to support her and to take as many of the remaining cats as they could to ensure they would not be stolen by the police and sent to some unknown location with no time, no money, and no experience with cats. Later that night, Erica was informed that several of the cats had died during their ride in the horse trailer due to the combination of 100-degree heat, the cages not being secured, and the police and vets refusing to allow the plaintiff to feed, water, or medicate any of the cats during the raid. A week after the raid, Erica was informed that 20 more of the cats had died. This was devastating. At no point did the police or vets allow Erica to tell them which cats were taking which medications, nor did they ever contact the cats' veterinarians to verify their treatment protocols or their current health conditions. Instead, defendants sent these cats, which were receiving proper care at the plaintiff's rescue, to an unqualified individual who admitted to having no experience whatsoever with cats, no money, no resources, and not nearly enough time to care for these 87 cats, many of which had health problems that required daily medications. Solimar Crespo is a nurse with 2 young boys who was also pregnant at the time of the raid and taking night classes for college while also maintaining her rescue with over 50 horses. It's no wonder why 20 of the plaintiff cats died in her care. A month after the raid, Erica saw that Solimar had posted on her Facebook page that she had gotten most of the cats sterilized. This is not legal. These cats are the property of the plaintiff and Playa Paz, and they were allegedly in such poor condition that they needed to be taken from the rescue. However, these cats were sent to a horse farm where they were having unnecessary and elective surgeries performed on them without plaintiff's authorization. Immediately following this illegal raid, the plaintiff wanted to file a court case to get the cats back. She was advised by more than one lawyer that she was required by Puerto Rico law to wait 90 days to file a case to get her cats and property back. Erica was so sick and depressed following the illegal raid that she could not eat, sleep, or focus. She lost over 30 pounds during the month of September and was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Since it had become abundantly clear that Erica was no longer safe in her own home, she listed her house for sale and moved to Florida. She made over 20 flights back and forth from Puerto Rico to Florida to take the 40 cats that had managed to avoid getting seized by the police. Erica had to sell her house and car for a loss in order to be able to quickly move to Florida for her own personal safety and for the safety of her remaining cats. The plaintiff has spent tens of thousands of dollars on lawyers trying to get her cats back and to fight against this illegal raid that destroyed her life and rescue. we'll stop here for now. There's not too much of the story left. I think we should be able to get the rest of the lawsuit in the next video. So if you haven't done so, check out the first 2 videos that are part of this explanation of our freshly filed federal civil rights lawsuit against everybody, well, not everybody, against the biggest players who illegally raided our rescue, raided my home, and took our cats, our property, and now have retaliated and also charged me with 57 felonies and 63 misdemeanors. So there's still more to the story. Even beyond this lawsuit, things are going to continue to develop. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I post videos on there almost every day, several times a week. Some are just fun, happy videos of the cats and our rescue. Some pertain to the raid. Just pretty much anything pertaining to our rescue and what's going on. So thank you for your support. You can leave comments and questions in the comment section of the video. There's a link in the description to this lawsuit, the full thing. You can read it yourself, along with all the other documents on our different court cases involved in this situation. And as I said, I have evidence of everything I claim in this lawsuit, mostly through videos on our YouTube channel, because I filmed almost the entire raid, and I also had video surveillance cameras, the news footage, and now the testimony from the witnesses at my criminal trial, who, even though they're being called by the prosecution, have actually helped my case a lot more than his. So it's great. The truth is finally starting to come out. Hopefully we're that much closer to getting the cats back. And we just really appreciate all your support. The outpouring of support from people across the United States and across Puerto Rico has been really heartwarming. We appreciate your support, and please continue to share our videos. The world needs to know what's going on here, because it's illegal, unconstitutional, and unconscionable. This needs to never happen to anyone else ever again. So, thank you. We'll see you next time.